Very hot, very caliente. Time to get hot, caliente. Time to get very hot, hot, caliente. Very caliente. It's time to pump up the volume and live and love and laugh with Pablo, Alsina, and Jennie Lopez. Very Caliente podcast begins now.
Very Caliente. Welcome. Bienvenidos a todo el mundo. Another episode of Very Caliente. My name is Jennie Lopez. I'm here with Pablo, Alsina, and we have a powerhouse of a guest today. Pablo, who do we have today joining us?
Complete honor to have her on the show. Dailyn Rodriguez, she's not only a showrunner, a producer, a writer, a director, a proud daughter of Cuban immigrants. She is absolutely a superstar. Dailyn Rodriguez, thank you for being on the show. Did I introduce you correctly? There's so many hats that you wear. How would you introduce yourself?
I think that was right. I appreciate that. You're a good hype person. I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's amazing.
I'm extremely proud because what you're doing with Lincoln Lawyer is something that we want to do with the show Very Caliente. On Very Caliente, we bring in the best Hispanics, the best Latinos that are lawyers, that are screenwriters, that are directors, that are producers, that are sculptors. We want to show all the types of Latinos and Hispanics that are there. And I think that's something you do brilliantly with Lincoln Lawyer. I mean, I don't even consider it a Latino show. If they changed the lead, I would still watch it. But I love how you shine such a bright light on Hispanics.
Thank you. It was very important for me when I came onto the show season 2 to work with Ted Humphrey that it was representative of Los Angeles, but without hitting people over the head. It just had to be what it is. I mean, the fact of the matter is LA is almost 50% Latino, Hispanic. And I just feel like it's just easy to populate amongst our people and background actors, casting, and also casting a variety of types of Latinos. Like we did a very good job of highlighting Latinos that don't speak Spanish, Latinos that do, ones that have accents, ones that don't, people that are lawyers, FBI agents, gardeners, chefs, like all what we can be as a community. And I think we also try and highlight all of LA. We have a lot of Black actors, Asian actors, Armenian, Persian. We really try and show LA what LA really is. And I'm really proud of that.
That is so beautiful, Dailyn. Actually, I was going to ask you about how intentional you are when it comes to representation, and you beautifully answer it right now.
Yeah. I'm very intentional. I'm very intentional about it.
I can tell. And I love it that it's not the same narrative, right? That people get to see Latino art like this, and there's just different flavors all around. And I love that. Actually, I'm going to step back. I'm very curious because you have had such a powerhouse career. How did it start? Were you watching TV one day and said, "Ooh, one day I'm going to be a writer"? Or did somebody kind of say, "Hey, you have a superpower here. Maybe this is a career for you"? How did it start?
It's kind of like a combination. I mean, as you introduced me, I come from 2 immigrant parents. They didn't speak English. My sister was born in Cuba. She also was sort of struggling trying to learn the language. And I was born in New York City, and I was planted in front of the TV a lot. My mom, it was like the TV was my babysitter, basically.
Right.
So I learned a lot of English from television. Specifically, I like to shout out PBS and Sesame Street and Electric Company. And there was also this short-lived show on PBS called Que Pasa USA that was about a Cuban immigrant family.
Yes.
And what was great about it is that it was actually made to help the new immigrants coming over to learn English.
Right.
So it was a really smart show. And I never saw myself really represented on television until that, or like Rita Moreno on Electric Company and stuff like that. But I really gravitated towards a lot of these Norman Lear, very urban shows because I was growing up in New York. So it was a lot of the Black shows. And I watched a lot of those shows because at least they felt like they were more representative of something that I was more experiencing more living in Washington Heights. So I always loved television. I always loved it. And then when I moved to New Jersey, I had a teacher. He was like a drama teacher, but also he started teaching playwriting. And I had a very unconventional childhood. My dad was in the Cuban mafia. That's a whole other story. And I was kind of living like a mezzo soprano. I was going to private school in New Jersey. I couldn't tell anybody what my dad did for a living. It was very, very
Oh,
weird.
wow.
And I sort of bonded with this teacher, and he said, "It feels like you should be writing. It feels like that would, really help you get through a lot of the stuff that you're processing about your family and your life and how different you are." And I was quite a minority in my high school. And so he introduced me to the theater. I started reading plays, and I was acting. A lot of kids before they become writers are acting in high school. It's very common.
Yes.
And so I was acting and writing, and then I decided I actually went to NYU as a drama major, but I transferred after a semester to the writing department. And that's kind of history after that. And I knew I wanted to write for TV because of that really early love that I had for television.
Yes.
So that's really how it all started. And
That's so cool.
You,
Have you
you
ever
did.
like gone? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Jenny. Go ahead.
Very quick question. Have you ever like connected back to that teacher that was the first one to give you like
I
that
still talk
nudge?
to
Go
him.
back.
I still talk to him. I thanked him in my acceptance speech at the Imagen Foundation. I got the Norman Lear
Oh,
Award this past year. So I
I
thanked him
love
very
it.
much. Yeah, yeah. You have to
That's so
thank your
cool.
mentors.
That is
Yes.
awesome. Dailyn, you gave me goosebumps. I mean, I'm from Miami. I moved to Miami when I was 4. My dad was from Argentina, but professor at the University of Miami. So we moved to Miami. We loved Que Pasa USA, Stephen
Yeah,
Bauer, and that show
yeah,
because the kids all spoke English, but they always respected their parents. So they also learned Spanish, and like la
yeah.
abuelitas were there, and then the parents were like in the middle, and it showed so much. And it's like everything that I'm from. It's that whole Miami culture. You're saying you're a minority. When I came to Miami, I was technically the minority. I was like, but only for 2 years because by high school it was 95% Cuban. So even though I'm
Yeah,
Argentinian, I almost feel part Cuban. All my best
yeah.
friends' parents, I didn't have uncles or grandparents because we moved here. So they were all my Cuban best friends, uncles and parents. Pero chico, yo te puedo hablar como cubano cuando quiera. So I love that.
Exactamente.
And Que Pasa USA is such an amazing show. And there's this one line, Dailyn, in that show when La Abuela, you don't like this guy because he's black, and they're like kind of freaked out. And then the black guy starts talking Spanish, and he's like, "Oh, pero no soy negro, yo soy cubano." And instantly the grandparents are like, "Oh my God, he's not black, he's
What
Cuban." And
about?
all of a sudden they love him. And it was like a nice moment, except you notice, whoa, let's go a little
Well,
kind of
it's probably pretty problematic, but especially nowadays. Especially
yes.
nowadays, it's very problematic. But yes,
But
yeah.
but that's
I
what I
mean,
love about our show because lots of times on the media here, it's very West Coast. So like Latino is only one kind. And I'm like, no, there's white Latinos, there's black Latinos, there's mulatto Latinos, there's mestizo Latino, there's Hispanics from Europe. I'm
well,
90% European.
Pablo, I spend half my time having to educate people in Hollywood the difference between Latinos. So like,
Yes, 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 yes.
it's a lot.
But that's what I like that in your show we're trying to show them, hey, we're everything. And then the accents, like I remember Ricky Ricardo, so I Love Lucy, still with that kind of fake accent, but at least he had suits on. He was world class. And I'm
Yeah.
still seeing too many people using fake accents. Your lead actor, that's his regular, real accent. But when can we get away from an actor doing the fake, phony accent? Because that's what they want. I'm so tired. Where are there Latinos like us, where we're white and we can speak without an accent, like you? We can speak without an accent. Are we going to see more of that?
I think we have a bigger problem than that. The bigger problem is, are we just going to see Latinos on television?
True.
It's like the bigger problem. We are. I wish that I had better news for you, but I feel like we are regressing a little bit, and I think
Uh,
it's because of the current political situation in this country. It feels really hard for me when I look at the landscape of Hollywood and I see, I can only name 3 shows with Latino leads, you
Yeah.
know,
yeah.
it's really hard, and they keep canceling our shows. So, and it's very hard to develop in the space. So I'm more concerned about how do we even get our faces in front of the camera. And then I understand what you're saying about these accents. There is a secondary issue going on there, but that's a bigger issue because like what you and I pick up, other people don't pick up. I mean, like, for example, there was a show on the air a while back. It was like took place in Miami. It was about a baker. It was
Burn
based on an
Heaven?
Israeli. No,
Oh,
no,
no.
no, no. It was Latino. It was the lead was Latino, and he was like a baker that fell in love with some model. It was on ABC. I can't remember the name of it, but he was supposed to be Cuban from Miami, and they cast this actor that within 5 seconds, I was like, this guy's from New York, and
Yes.
he's not Cuban. Like within 5 seconds, because I'm from New York. So I'm like, that's a New York accent. That's not a Miami accent. That guy's not Cuban. He's a great actor, but like nobody cares. They don't like,
care, Dailyn,
I
we
know
care.
you care. I'm not saying us in this room, we
Right,
all
right.
care, but I'm saying like if I were to say that, like I'm constantly saying like, hey guys, we can't cast that actress. She's very obviously from New
Yeah.
York and Puerto Rican, and we're telling a story about a Mexican American in LA. So I'm sure if we called her back and see if she could do the accent, but she also looks Puerto Rican from like so like a lot
Yes.
of times we have to, sometimes we can't pick or choose. We just have to pick the best actor and hope we can, change the performance a little bit so it fits what actually the character is, because actors are actors. They should be able to play anything. But sometimes it's so egregious that it's so you need somebody behind the scenes that's the person calling it out. And most of the time that's the problem. Most of the time you don't have a Latino showrunner or a Latino executive producer that's in a position of power to be able to say, hey, can we try something else here because it's not authentic? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We have you, and the fact that you have grown through this career to be a showrunner, which Dailyn, this is not I'm not in the show business, by the way. I come from corporate. I am a speaker and author, so I have to like really figure out, okay, what is a showrunner? What are all the hats that Dailyn like wears? You wear a lot of hats, and you have grown to be that for several shows. So congratulations on that. For you
Thank
as a
you.
role model and people, Latinos who are out there, you kind of share a little bit of the truth behind Hollywood, which we were progressing and kind of going backwards a little bit because of the political environment. However, you have learned how to get there. What is some advice, what is an advice that you can give for the people who are really trying to get into Hollywood and do what you're doing right now? Not just for like, look what I'm doing, but for the impact that you're having in the community as well.
That's a really hard question. I don't mean to be negative. It's just that right now there's a bit of a contraction in the business in general. A lot of productions are going overseas. There's a lot less, ever since the strike, there's been less content. It's starting to pick up. There's more development now. Look, I mean, I'm a big fan of like, people just have to be authentic to their voices and have to push for the things that they want to write about and the things that they want to explore in their creative work. And I think that when you're authentic to yourself and you write stuff from the heart, people see it and they respond to it. And that's the only thing you can really do to try and have any control over your work or your creativity, and hope that people that are inspired by it and understand what you're doing respond to it. And I mean, that's the best thing I can say, other than like the rest of it is pounding the pavement. The rest is getting your stuff in front of the right people and finding the allies and people that like to develop in the Latino space. And there are, there's the Eugenio Derbez's and Gina Rodriguez and people that have, overalls and deals. And like there's J-Lo, there's Ava Longoria. There are people trying to do it. You know what I mean? They're out there. But Gloria Calderon-Kellett, Tanya Sriracho. There are people really pounding the pavement and trying to get your work in front of those people to see if you can get, those people to help you and support you and get you in front of there. The rest of it is like just, unfortunately, is a battle. It's all a battle, but we're used to it because we're Latinos and all we do is a battle. That's all we do. So
that is one of our superpowers, our resilience, right? But what I'm hearing from you is that you connect to that deeper why. You keep moving forward, be authentic to your voice, and then also be intentional with your connections to get to the right people that can
100%.
help you open those doors. Go ahead,
You
Pablo.
said it in a much more amazing way than I did.
Dailyn, I've been a filmmaker for 25 years. And so I made a movie 20 years ago called Estado. It's called State of Mind. It was about 4 Hispanics. They all had great jobs. One was a news anchor. The other one was an engineer. The other one had issues with his father, so he committed suicide. Then they were talking about depression and this matrix that's taking over. This was 20 years ago, 2002. I pitched it to this company. I won't mention them. And they're like, Pablo, we love the quality of the acting. And you have a black Hispanic, a white Hispanic, a blonde Hispanic, a white Hispanic from Argentina, from Peru, we love it. But it's too intellectual. Make us a movie about gangsters and killing each other, and then we'll buy it. So I'm like, no, my movie is about intelligent, bilingual Hispanics, and it's a coming of age film. It can fit in perfectly now. And they didn't want it. So Dailyn, when are we going to break away from
you're illustrating the reason that we're in the political situation we're in.
Yeah, but this was 20 years ago. This was 20 years ago. We're telling me that.
And still,
but exactly, that's what I'm saying to you. We have to have a little bit of a come to Jesus in Hollywood, because we've spent years and years promoting a certain idea of what it is to be Latino in this country. Either we're living in our trauma, we're poor maids and housekeepers that can't make it and are living on the margins, or we're criminals, you know what I mean, or in gangs, or it's another border story. I'm not saying that those things don't exist. I'm not saying that there aren't Latino gangsters. I would be lying if I said that. I'm not saying that there aren't a lot of Latino maids and housekeepers, or people dealing with border issues, and there are people living in their trauma. We have that. But that's all we've explored in Hollywood. We haven't explored the whole entire, with bits and pieces. We've had things here and there that have come out. Lincoln Lawyer, One Day at a Time, there's like This Fool. There's been things that have come out that have tried to pop through. The problem is that it's just easier to sell things that they feel are sensational, and crime sells. People like crime shows. I get it. I like crime shows. I like watching crime shows. I worked on a crime show. I've worked on crime shows. So I get it.
You worked on an amazing crime show.
Yes.
Can we see the Queen of South? Because that's why I love Dailyn. Even I acted I had 2 episodes in Queen of South. Love you guys. I had a one-on-one scene with Alice Braga. Came closer than anybody to killing her on the show. I made the mistake, Dailyn. I talked and told her what I was going to do instead of just pulling the trigger, the typical bad guy mistake. But I love that episode. Hemke Madera, amazing to just meet him in person.
Yeah.
Alice Braga was incredible. So I want to thank you, because even when you do a crime show, you put so much heart, you put so much nuggets of family and feeling. And I noticed it in the Lincoln Lawyer episode you directed, also family, knowledge. So even when you do a crime show, you put heart into it. So is that your way of beating the system, Dailyn? Okay, I have to do a crime show.
Yeah.
I'm still going to pump my heart.
No, I mean, I will specifically tell you what happened on Queen of the South to explain to you how you can shift it somehow. So if you watch that show, the first 3 seasons are very much about border violence and stuff going on between Mexico and in our version of the South, we were in Dallas, and then eventually we were in Phoenix, I think, in the 3rd season, but we were shooting in Dallas. And then when I took over the show on season 4, it was right before Trump had just come out and called Mexicans rapists and criminals, and it was very bad. And I didn't really want to come back to the show because I thought the show was too dark, and I was having trouble morally dealing with the show, and I was the number 2 on the show. There was a different showrunner, and then when that showrunner decided not to come back, they came to me and said, "Do you want to come and do this?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll do it, but I have to change the show. I have to make this show. The only way I know how to do this show moving forward is this is the Godfather. So how do we make that show? How do we take it away from the border? So we move it to New Orleans. Now we're telling stories about this woman that came from nothing, that's trying to get legit, that the only way she could do is through crime, but she's going to legitimize this business, and she's going to try and make a real business. I think in the 4th episode, she talks about the Kennedys and other families that have started with crime and then became something else. She's like, why can't we be that? And then I changed the way the show was shot. I shot it a lot more like The Godfather, a lot of like less Sicario, more Godfather. And basically we changed it so it felt more like this woman creating a family and like uplifting everybody and trying to do something different. And then we were able to tell some really, really, really interesting racial stories about Black and Latinos in the South. And we were able to tell stories about corruption in government, which seems very important these days. And we were able to tell the story of like, who are the real criminals here? The people that had no choice but to become criminals, or the people hiding behind badges and titles and the color of their skin? So we were able to tell these like this story in season 4 and 5. And that was my subversive way of being able to tell a crime show with Latinos, but like try something different, because I couldn't do the same thing over and over again. I turn down a lot of stuff that's crime oriented now because I can't, unless I find an end that makes it something different or interesting. I don't want to perpetuate the same stereotype. So it's just trying to find the next projects. But like, look, you just have to keep, your original question, Pablo, was about like, how do we fight this? It's like, you just keep writing your way out of it. You just have to write your way out of it. You know what I mean? Until you have the people that go, oh, okay, we'll make this. I mean, if you look at like some of the actors that are able to sort of imbue things with being Latino without, like, I love Pedro Pascal's career right now. I think like it's like what he's doing, I think is so important to the Latino community. It's like, so there's actors that are doing it and in their own way. And so like, we just have to write ourselves out of it, act our way out of it, direct our way out of it. Like we just have to, you know?
Is there more comedy? You started as a writer in Betty La Fea. Also, is there a comedy going your way, Dailyn? Because I wrote a comedy called No Speak English about about ESOL, Hispanic class, but all these older people in night school who come to the United States, all from wealth, all different spots, but they need to speak English. So it's a comedy. It's kind of like Welcome to Kotter meets Que Pasa USA, where there's lots of Spanish, lots in English. So there's a quick little pitch. But I'll send it over gladly. But Dailyn, is there comedy ever going to come back your way? Or are you going to write this link?
I'm never going to do multicam again. It wasn't for me. As much as I loved watching it as a kid, at the end of the day, it wasn't really, I didn't find my home there. I'm not really a joke writer. I like writing comically. As you see in Lincoln Lawyer, there's a lot of comedy. I've probably brought a little bit more comedy into the show. I just am not a fan of, for me, I can't do the multicam again. It's not for me, but I'm definitely the stuff that I'm trying to develop and looking at now is more on the lighter side. I think we have enough dark stuff going on right now in the world.
I love it. Yeah. Dailyn, before we wrap up this episode, I'm going to give you this or that super quick question, okay?
Okay.
Do you get more inspired at 2 a.m. or like 6 a.m. to write?
6 a.m.
Are you more like a solo writer? You are? I love it. Are you more of a solo writer, or you like the writers, like room chaos?
I love room chaos. I love the room. I love collaborating. I like hearing the best idea wins. I'm a fan of that. Yeah.
I love that. What about West Coast or East Coast vibe?
Can't choose. Won't choose. Won't. But I got homies on both sides. I can't do it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I just wanted people to get to know you a little bit more. Thanks for playing along.
I will say something controversial. East Coast hip hop over West Coast hip hop. That I will.
All right.
I'll say.
He's got to represent. I'm from Miami. Like, you can't move me out of Miami. I've lived in LA 20 years now, like 14 years now. I will always be East Coast. We understand, Dailyn. We have to play the game. We love the West Coast.
I know. I do love the West Coast. I love LA. I've really grown to love it here, but you can't ever take the New York girl out of me.
Of course. Awesome. Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure getting to know you.
Complete honor.
Thank you so much.
Please keep a lookout. I have 5 seasons of Lincoln Lawyer now. I haven't got an audition yet. I'm hoping I can be the bad guy. I can play both parts.
All right. I'll keep an eye out. Thanks, guys.
You're the best. Thank you so much. Tell everybody where they can follow you, Dailyn, and everything about you. Plug away.
Oh, I am no longer on the X app, so no, not there. You can find me on Instagram at Dailyn Rod or Threads at the same handle. That's where I am. Thank you.
Absolute superstar. She is Dailyn Rodriguez, or Dailyn Rodriguez, if we can say it American-wise. She's a superstar, making us Hispanics shine in Hollywood and all over the place. Dailyn, thank you so much.
You're very
Viva
welcome.
USA, Viva Cuba, and Viva everybody in this wonderful world.
Muchas gracias. Gracias. Adiós. Gracias.
Very hot.